So you need 87 blocks for this DIY and some Dollar Tree super glue wood glue, or whichever glue you want to use. And I am going to make 2 L shapes, which are 3 blocks high and 3 blocks across. And then I'm going to glue those together, and that's going to make a rectangle shape. And now I am gluing some more tower blocks on the inside. And pay attention to how I'm placing them, because you want to leave a gap in the middle of each side, and that's where we're going to put something in there later. So now I'm making 2 rows of 6 blocks, and then I'm going to make 2 rows of 10 blocks. And this is 3 rows of 11 blocks, and that's going to be the base. These are easy, pretty straightforward tower block DIYs, and you can paint them or stain them any colour you like. I just chose to keep it neutral. And this was our last boxes of tower blocks, so I won't be doing any tower block DIYs for a while. I'll have to order some more. So I'm just putting some glue on the ends of the shorter sides, and then I am putting it together, and then it's going to make a rectangle. And then I turned the base over so the flat side would be sticking up. Then I glue them together, making sure there's an even space all around the outside, like for the base. And then I have some Waverly plaster chalk paint, and I just watered it down to give it a whitewash. So I'm going to wash it all just now. Again, you can use whatever colour you like. This is just easy for me. I don't have to go stain or wait too long on it drying, because I have to go into the garage, which is right next to my craft room, but I didn't want to go. It was like late at night. And now I have some of the geometric beads, and I'm just gluing them in place. You could just put them in and paint them or stain them at the same time if you want to. And now I am going to glue it all together. And it's a wee shadow box. I just put some succulents in there. You could have it this way around, or you could have it standing up on its side. You could put whatever you want in there. You can also put like some ribbon around the middle part. There's different things you can do. Just use your imagination. You could also use it as a planter, or maybe you could put some tissues in there or something. It's up to you what you want to put in it. So you need 95 blocks for this DIY. So it's 2 boxes and some wood glue of your choice. And I made the same thing again, but I didn't glue any of it together. And now I have one of the Dollar Tree cutting mats, and I'm just measuring it, and I'm going to cut it out. And you should paint or stain your pieces before you do this part, but I wasn't thinking. So definitely paint or stain them before you add this on, unless you want to just leave it natural. So I just cut it out to fit inside there. I'm just going to hot glue it down. I'm just doing one half at a time. And then just making sure it's all stuck down and got rid of any glue strings. And now I'm placing this part on top so that I can see where I have to glue on the tower blocks so that the lid will stay in place. And I was going to do them that way around, but you could see it on the other side, because I'm leaving a gap in between the box and these tower blocks that I'm placing down. So I decided to glue them in this way. Also, I would glue these pieces together and then paint them or stain them before you hot glue them to the bottom of the lid. So I decided just it would be better to do it like this and do 2 across and then glue the next one. And then I'm just going to do the same for the other side. You could cut down some blocks and make it go all the way around if you want to. I just can't be bothered cutting any blocks. And this makes it easier. So I'm just going to glue it all together now. Well, glue this part together. And then I'm going to take the watered down plaster chalk paint again and just give it a wash. And then when I had to paint this other part, I just took a smaller brush and tried not to get it on the plastic, but it was easy to wipe off since it was watered down. But it would have been much easier if I had remembered to do this before I glued it all together. And I'll paint the rest of it off camera. And the last part was gluing the, oh, what are they called? Geometric beads in there. And you just have to make sure, go through the pack and see which ones fit. And you can always sand down the sides if you need to. And this is how it turned out. And it's just a wee trinket box. You can always put wood across the middle if you want to, if you don't want to put the cutting mat. And then this is what it looks like inside. Nothing exciting, but nice, cute, simple box. So you need 108 tower blocks for this DIY and some wood glue. And I'm just making 4 of these, which is just the same lid pattern that I did already for the other 2 DIYs. So just make your rectangle and then add in the tower blocks in the middle. And this one is going to be a lantern. And I decided just to add in the geometric beads now, and then I just give it all the wash, the whitewash. I'm just gluing together 3 rows of 7 blocks, and this is going to be the base. This base is going to fit on the inside of the lantern, but you could always make it bigger if you want to have a lip on the outside and have it sticking out at the bottom. Oh, I realised it's actually 8 on the bottom. No, yeah, 8. And then I'm using the plaster paint again and just giving it all a wash of paint. And I'll do the rest off camera. So this is the cutting mats that I've been using. I thought I showed you properly at the start. But anyway, I'm just going to measure how big I need to make the pieces, and then I'm going to cut them all out and then hot glue them down. I probably should have just filmed me doing one, but I'm measuring them all out, and then I'm going to cut them all out. Actually, I only measured 3, so you could just do 1 and then cut them out like this. That would be easier, instead of measuring them all out. And then I am going to hot glue them to the back of each of these. And now I am putting some glue around the base and then along the sides of 2 of these. And I'm going to hot glue some tower blocks on the inside just to keep it all standing up and until all the glue sets. And then I did run some hot glue up the corners just to hold it in place. You can go back and paint those tower blocks if you want to, I didn't bother. And then I just did the same thing for the other side. And this is how it turned out. You can make a lid for it too if you wanted to. You could just make, I don't know if it would fit if you just made another one of those side panels. You need 81 blocks for this DIY, which is 2 boxes, and some wood glue. And I already made 3 of these, you need 4 altogether. So you glue 2 blocks at the bottom end to end, then 4 up each side, and then another 2 at the top. Next, I glued together 2 rows of 8 tower blocks. And then I'm going to glue 2 tower blocks on the side. And then the next one I have to measure it and cut it down with my miter shears, and I will link them down below. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I couldn't cut that one. Some are easier to cut than others. And just watch, because sometimes they go flying. So I'm just going to glue that one on, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Sometimes you have to sand down the cut end. So I want to make another one of these, but without all the blocks in the middle. So I am just measuring the size of it, and I'm just going to cut down the blocks. And then I'm going to glue it together in a rectangle after I sand it. And this is, well, the other part I just made is the base, and then this is going to be the top of the lantern. And if you want to, you can put feet on the lantern, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to apply these rhinestone stickers. I already did the other 3 sides, so you can just see me doing it here. Now they always have these in Dollar Tree. They come in different colours, but we're going to paint them. But if you wanted to just make these DIYs glam, then you could paint the wood first and then stick these on top. So I just made it so that it would be, the stickers would look the same on each end. And then I'm using the pieces that I cut off to fill in the bottom. And that's the good thing about these stickers, if you cut them down you can always match them up again. And then you don't need to waste much. See, you won't even know, you can't even notice that you just stuck them together. And then I'm going to do the same at the bottom. There you go. So now I am just brushing on some Mod Podge. So this rest of the DIY, I had to paint it, do the Mod Podge and then paint it 2 coats. And the first coat going in between all the wee beads, well, rhinestones, was really tedious. So if you have spray paint in the colour that you like, then I would definitely spray paint them instead. So I'm just adding 1 tower block in the middle on the side of just one of these. So here I am painting on, and this is just some paint from my house. It's a similar colour to Waverley's Celery, like slightly darker than that. And I did apply 2 coats on all the sides. And these stickers even look nice when you just paint them just like this. But I'm going to do something else with them later on in the clips. I'll paint the rest off camera. So I have some of these Dollar Tree cutting mats, and I'm just going to measure how big I want it to, or each piece to be, so I can glue them to the back of each of these pieces of the lantern. And it actually ended up being as wide as the mat, so that worked out good. I'm just going to show you me doing one of them, and then I'll do the rest off camera. And I am just going to hot glue this. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. Sometimes with the hot glue, it just keeps making a dent in the glue stick, and then it's not pushing it down, it's just making a dent. So I did have to go and put more glue on that. And this is a moon from Amazon, and these stickers are from Dollar Tree. I'll link the moon down below. I had these stickers for so many years, so I'm glad that I used them up. But they always have them in Dollar Tree. So I'm just putting them around the moon because I wanted to cover up the hole. I wasn't going to do this at first, and then I decided to do it. And yeah, you can do all this before you paint everything. And then I have to do the Mod Podge and the paint like I did for the other pieces. So I love this green colour, but you could do any colour you like. I think these DIYs would be nice in any colour. I was going to do different colours so I could see what they looked like, but I was too much trying to decide which colours to do. So I just chose to do them all green, and then you guys can choose whatever is your favourite colour and what's going to go with your decor. So I painted the moon on the sides and the back. So I gave this 2 coats of paint as well, and then I will paint the rest off camera. This is Robin Buff in the colour Antique Gold, and I'm just going to put some on my finger and then rub it all over the stickers, and I'm going to do it on the sides and obviously on the moon as well. So at first I was trying to be careful and just get on the stickers, but then ended up getting some on the bits of paint as well, and I liked how that looked, so I just ended up doing that with all of it. But it's up to you if you want to do that or not. So I'm just using my finger, but you can also use a brush. See how it looks? I'm just going to do the moon now. So I'm brushing it all over the stickers, and then on the inside of the moon, the sides and the back. Did I do the back? We'll find out. Oh no, I didn't even paint the back. Yeah, because you won't see it anyway. I thought I painted the back. So I'm just going to glue it down. This tower block was a little bit taller than the other ones, like thicker, but it wasn't going to work with the wood glue, so I had to use some hot glue to stick it on. And now I'm just rubbing the Robin Buff all over the base and like all the edges, the corners, and the top of the lantern as well. Originally I was just going to do the stickers and that was it, but then I decided that I wanted to put it everywhere. So then I had to go back in and do it on all the sides of the side pieces. I'm assembling my lantern now, and you see I have those little square pieces there. That is from the tower blocks that I cut down, so I'm going to use those pieces up, and I'm just going to hot glue them in the bottom to help my lantern sides stand up and hold together, because I'm not actually gluing them together, they're only getting glued to the bottom, so I need those for extra support. And then yeah, so this stays up so that I can put the top on. That one fell over. So I just glue in the rest of them. And then I'm going to use some hot glue and some wood glue to glue the top on, just so that it sets in place quick. I'm just trying to make sure it's all positioned properly. And this is how it turned out, and I love how it turned out. I think it's so beautiful. You need 54 tower blocks for this DIY, so that's one box. And some wood glue. So I'm gluing together 12 tower blocks, 6 on each side. And then I'm going to glue 2 on that side, and then 2 at the top, and then this one I have to cut down. Now this part, this DIY, started this DIY, this part and the part of the next clip, I made them by accident. So I decided I wasn't going to waste them, I was going to make something with them, and that's how I ended up with this DIY. So this is just 2 tower blocks on each side, but then you have to cut down that one at the top there. I'm just using my miter shears again. And then I'm gonna measure and cut this tower block, and these are gonna be glued in the middle there, because this is gonna be a moon trinket box and I need something to glue the moon to. Yeah, because I made these parts for the lantern, then I realised that I wasn't going to glue the lantern together in a square. I was going to do it like I did it, and yeah, those pieces are spare. So that was 2 sets of 5 blocks I made there, and now I'm doing 2 sets of 7, and then I'm I'm attaching the stickers just the same way as I did the last time. And actually I used 1 pack of stickers for the first DIY, and then I just used 1 pack for this, not even a whole pack. Yeah, you wouldn't think these stickers would look so nice when they're painted, but they do. I think I like them better than the other ones that I usually use. So I was trying to work it out how I was going to fit that in, and then I just trimmed down the pieces that I didn't need. And then I did the same thing on the other side. I'm using these other rhinestone stickers again from Dollar Tree, and I'm putting them all around the edge. And then I went over it all with some Mod Podge. And if any bits of stickers were sticking up, I just use a wee bit hot glue, just a tiny bit. So I'm going to put the sides together now and make a rectangle. And then I'm going to glue that to the base. And I'm making sure I leave an even amount of space all around the outside or the edge, and then I am putting those stickers along the top edge and along the sides, the sides of the base. It's up to you if you want to use all these stickers, but I think they look nice. Well, they look nice when they're painted. So I had all these, the ones I'm using right now, had loads of packs of them. Because when I first started my channel, I was doing bling stuff. That's why it's called Bonnie Blings. But people weren't watching that stuff, so I made some wood planters, and that's how I got all my subscribers and watch hours and stuff. I do still like some bling, actually. Maybe I'll do some actual blingy tower block DIYs, because people ask me if they can bling them up, and you definitely can. You could put mirror tiles, rhinestones, whatever you want on it. Just paint them silver or whatever, instead of doing it rustic or whatever. So I'm just doing the Mod Podge again, and then I'm going to give everything 2 coats of the paint. Oh no, I'm not. I'm going to put the stickers on the moon. Now after I do that, then I'm going to paint it all. Actually, I'm not painting it yet because I have to make the back piece of the lid so that it kind of stays in place. It can still slide from side to side, but I'll keep it a wee bit. I wasn't sure what else to do because I wanted to use the cutting mat, and this DIY was as making it, using up those pieces that I made by mistake. So this is what I turned out. Maybe you can come up with something better. You could always use blocks on the top of it instead of the cutting mat, if that's what you want to do. So I'm just painting the moon, and then I have to paint this wee piece as well. So I'm cutting down a craft stick to glue on there, just to make it a bit taller, so that my moon will fit on over the top of those stickers. And then I'm just measuring how big I want my cutting mat to be, and then I'm going to mark it out and just cut it with some scissors. And then I'm going to hot glue it in place. Oh no, I'm going to paint that first. You forget which steps you take when you're watching it. So now I'm going to glue it in place. And then I'm going to glue the other piece on. Oh, and I made it a little bit shorter than the inside of, well, I made it a bit shorter than the other one that is, the other tower, oh my god, I can't talk. The other tower blocks that are in the middle, I made them a little bit shorter so that it'll fit inside the box, if that makes sense. And then I glued my moon on. I really wish I'd did it the other way around, with the tower blocks going the other way in the middle. But this is how it turned out. It still turned out cute, but I would have done it the other way around. And I think that it would look better, the moon would look better positioned that way. You need 133 tower blocks for this DIY, which is 2 boxes, and some wood glue, So I made 3 of these, but you can make your shelves, because they're going to be shelves taller if you want. So I did 5 tower blocks end to end, standing on their side, then another 5 on their backs, like flat, and then I did 15 blocks going in the opposite direction, and then I just repeated the same on the other side, the 5 flat and then another 5 on their side. So I'm just making the sides, which is the same as I did for the lantern, 2 blocks at the bottom and 4 up each side, and I made 2 of these because there's 2 sides. And now I am gluing a tower block in the middle of each, but I'm making sure that my moons are going to be facing in the same direction, so it needs to look like this. And then I did a craft stick on the top of each. So now I am adding the stickers to all the pieces. So I did the sides, and I used 2 packs of stickers for this, or maybe 2 and a bit. Yeah, 2 and 2 little bits that were left over from another pack. So I'm just patching it up here so I'm not wasting the stickers. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I think I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. No, I'm just going to use a whole sticker. So now I'm going to use these other rhinestone stickers and I'm going to attach them to 3 sides, but I'm not going to attach them to the other side, the bottom, basically the bottom. And I didn't do the backs there because I wasn't going to do the backs, and then I decided to do the backs off camera, but that's up to you if you want to do them or not. You use less stickers if you don't, and you're not really going to see it anyway. So then I did the sides of each of the shelves. I did do the backs of them as well, and then I put these stickers along the tower block that is on its side. I did that on both sides for each of the shelves. And then I did my moons, and you see that you gotta make sure they're going in opposite directions. Now you don't have to use all these stickers. You could use the pearl beads that they have in Dollar Tree as well. That would look nice as well. Or if you didn't want to use stickers, you could put some of wooden beads along the sides of the shelf, and then some smaller ones on the moons. I think they would fit. So now I'm just Mod Podging everything. So for this DIY, definitely I would spray paint it. You could probably put it all together then spray paint it, because painting it and actually doing 2 coats was so tedious. It was worth it in the end, but when I was painting I was like, why am I doing this? Why do I set myself up for all this work all the time? But the hard work always pays off. So yeah, I'm just Mod Podging all these pieces, and you see I did both sides of the shelves because obviously I want to give myself more work. And then I gave everything 2 coats of paint. But I'm not going to show you me painting at all. I'll do the rest off camera. So up here I'm just applying the antique gold rub and buff again. And if you didn't want to use this, this would look so nice just painted without the rub and buff, but I wanted to be extra and bring out that pattern with the stickers. So you can use a brush too, but I like to use my finger. Except some places you can't get into, so you gotta use the brush. Like those wee side parts. And then I did the middle of the shelf as well. And I just did it in different directions. And then I did the moons and I did the sides, just obviously everything. So I'm gluing my moons on now. And this is where you should do the backs of your moons, because I had to do them when I was supposed to do them now and I totally forgot about it, because you can see the hole. Totally forgot. And I had to do it when it's assembled. I'll show you, and I'll also show you what else I did to finish it off. So I'm just gluing it together now. And show you it like this, but I ended up turning it around off camera because it wasn't going to be flush at the front, and I wanted it to be flush at the front and the shelves stick out a wee bit at the back. But if you want to stand them up and make sure the shelves, see it sticks out a wee bit at the back, make it stick out and be even on each side, then you can do that. So just applying some feet and some rub and buff. So here I am showing you those side parts where the tower blocks don't have anything on them, like the middle shelf. So I am going to, you see the hole there in the inside, so I'm going to put the stickers on. No, actually, I'm going to do the tower blocks at the side first. You just need one, but I found one short one, and then the other one I had to keep sanding down so that it would fit. And then just keep checking it to see if it was going to fit. And then I'm going to put the stickers and everything on those. And then the stickers on the backs of the moons. And then obviously I'm going to glue, paint it all and stuff, and then glue those tower blocks in place. So you could do them, you could just do them when you do the moon on the side. When you're making the sides. What am I saying? It's 1:20 in the morning. Yeah, so you can, when you make the sides, you can just attach these pieces then. Because I wasn't going to put it on, but then I didn't like how it looked. So I thought it would look more finished. And definitely glad that I did it. So yeah, here I'm just putting the stickers on. A lot easier if I hadn't put it together. But at least you guys, I make the mistakes and then you guys know what to do when you actually go to make it, if you want to make it. So I'll just put the last piece on now. I know you can't really see, but you know what I'm doing. And then that's what they look like. That was a bit fast. Because I do speed these videos up 4 times. So now I am going to glue my tower blocks on the sides. See, that looks so much better and more finished. Then I'm going to do the other one. Oh no, I'm still doing that one. I just got rid of any excess glue with a wee paintbrush, and now I'm putting the other one in. This one was a tight fit. So you can make your shelf taller if you want to, but this is how it turned out, and I love how it turned out. Displaying crystals and a wee succulent on it. But yeah, I thought it was going to be a nice wee shelf. People can put their crystals or obviously wee small trinkets on. But I love how this turned out. I think this is one of my favourite DIYs. And I'm going to be using this paper from Dollar Tree. It's the peel and stick wallpaper, and these are some scrap pieces I have left and one full sheet, so I thought I would use them up. And for the first DIY, you're going to need 266 blocks, which is 4 boxes, and some Dollar Tree super glue wood glue. I'm gluing together 3 rows of 15 blocks, and I like to set them all out first and make sure they all fit together properly before I glue them. So I'm choosing that wallpaper to make my DIYs, but you could use any of the Dollar Tree peel and stick wallpaper, or you could just not put the wallpaper on these and just use the blocks, and you can also paint them and stain them any colour you like. This is just what I chose to do. And if you can't find this wallpaper, I did find it on Shein, and I will leave a link down below. You can buy a whole roll of it. I think I'm going to get it to decorate the upstairs bathroom because I just think it's so beautiful. So I was filming these late, like 2-3 in the morning. So I made loads of mistakes in this video, but I'll show you how I fixed them. So I'm gluing 5 tower blocks up each side, and that's when I realised that I only needed 14 blocks and not 15. But you can make it bigger if you want to and use more blocks. This is just the size I decided I was going to do. And I actually did end up making this one again because it's a little bit uneven at the end. So I'm just gluing 4 blocks end to end, and then in an L shape I'm going to glue another 5 blocks. And I'm going to do this twice. And then I'm going to glue them together next clip. And I made 2 of each of these parts that I just showed you. So this is me gluing them together now. I was gluing the wrong bit. So see, here's 2 of each. And then I am just going to glue one together because that's going to be the base. And I'm gluing some extra blocks in just for some extra support. And I just glue that on top and make sure it's even all the way around the edge. So you can see I already made one, and it's 2 blocks side to side with 4 blocks up each side. And these are going to be for the sides of the box. Just making sure it's all straight. And then I'm making 2 of these, and they are just 2 by 2. And now these are 10 blocks, 5 on each side, and I made 2 of them. And this is 5 blocks and it's 4 rows high, and I also made 2 of those. So if you don't want to use blocks on the inside and you still want to use the wallpaper, you could just use some cardboard or some foam board. And here I am just gluing some wee half beads on for feet on the base, and then I decided to glue on some more blocks. It's up to you if you want to put extra on. You can always put them on before. And then I am using some plaster Waverly chalk paint, and I just watered it down so that I can just give it a wash of paint. She has so many peel and stick wallpapers now, you could use any of them with whichever colour, paint or stain that you want to go with it. Also, you can get like cheap peel and stick wallpaper, whole roll off of Shein and Temu and stuff, so you could always use that. So I'm just going to measure how big I want this to be. I want to leave enough room at either side so that I can glue the top piece on, but I'm leaving a wee bit overhanging on the shorter sides because so that you don't see the gap when I glue it together. So I'm just measuring it with a ruler, and then I'm going to cut it out with some scissors. Just checking it. So these DIYs use a lot of blocks, but they're definitely worth it in the end when you see them. And again, you can always use some foam board or some cardboard to stick the peel and stick wallpaper to, if you don't want to use all those extra blocks. So I am just going to glue the top piece on now, and just making sure it's even at each side. I'm just going to measure the paper for the side. I just want it to be like, say, half a centimetre on, no, it's less than half a centimetre on each side, just enough so that I can glue it to the front piece, and then I want it overhanging a tiny bit at the sides. I'm just going to stick that on, and then I'm going to glue the top piece on. I'm making sure that the side that is the flat piece that was on the table, which has the bits of glue on it, is going to be on the back. And then just make sure it's in the right position. And then I'm going to do the side now. So I'll do 2 of these and 2 of the shorter pieces, because it's a box. And it's got 4 sides. So I'm just doing the same thing here, just measuring it all. You could also use napkins and decoupage these parts, or use scrapbook paper. So I'm just going to stick it down now, and then glue the top part on. And I couldn't do it all the way to the sides because this all has to fit together, which you'll see just now. So I'm just gluing the sides of the smaller pieces, and then I'm going to fit it all together. Just propping it up with the plaster chalk paint bottle and some more tower blocks. I'm going to leave that to dry. I've turned the top of the DIY upside down, and then I'm going to position the box where it's going to sit on when it's underneath it, and then I'm going to glue these 4 pieces of tower block in place, and those are just to hold the lid in place when I put it back on. So you're not gluing the box to it, you're just gluing those pieces in place, and then I'll stain them with the white chalk paint. And now this is the base, and I am gluing the box in place. And this is how it turned out. You could put a knob on the top if you wanted to, but I chose not to. It's up to you. But this is what it looks like when the box is closed. And then this is it when it's open. And I was originally going to make a riser and make this close. I was like, why would I do that? So you can also use it as a riser, and nobody even needs to know that you could hide some stuff inside it. This DIY, you need 83 tower blocks, which is 2 boxes, and some wood glue. So I'm going to glue 2 tower blocks end to end, and then I'm going to glue 4 up one side, 4 in the middle, and then another 4 at the other side, and then another 2 tower blocks at the top. And you can see I already made 3 because you're going to need 4 of these. And now I am making the base, and I'm gluing 2 tower blocks together like this, and then I'm going all the way around in a circle so that it makes a square. And then I'm going to glue tower blocks all around the outside. But when I started to put this together, I realised that I hadn't made this big enough, so later on I'll show you how I fix it and make it big enough. So I have 2 more scrap pieces of paper, and this is like the full length of the sheet, and I am just cutting them in half. And then I have to measure them and cut them down, and I actually made them too big, so I do have to trim them down later in the video, because when I was going to put this together, it wasn't going to fit because I'd made the sides too wide. And I just have a piece of cardboard, and I'm going to just stick it down to the cardboard and then cut it out, and I'll do that for all the pieces. And then I painted everything with some Waverly plaster chalk paint that's been watered down. I won't show you me painting it all, so I will do the rest off camera. Here I'm just measuring again, and I'm going to cut it down. It's just the width is obviously too wide, but the length is perfect. So I'm just cutting it with some scissors after I measured it. And then I am going to hot glue this piece on, and I'll do the rest of them off camera. So here's all my pieces. You can make a part for the top, which I was supposed to do, but I didn't remember until now. I'm watching the video, so that the top looks like the base with a bit sticking out. So I'm just gluing these pieces together. It's kind of like a rectangle. And then I took one piece off because I was like, this isn't gonna work. So I glued some tower blocks on the bottom, just in the corners to hold it together while the glue dried. And then I attached that side again. And then I just put some glue at the top in the corners, just to make sure it all holds together. I got rid of all the wee glue strings. And now I'm going to glue, oh my god, I'm going to glue the base on, and that's when I realised I hadn't made it big enough. So So I was thinking of just leaving it like that. I was like, no, I can't do that. So I just got 3 tower blocks and I had to cut one down with my miter shears. And then I just glued them in place. And then once they were dry, I just took the paint and painted them. I also painted on the top inside of the box, on the vase, whatever it is, planter. And then this is how it turned out. And 28 blocks for this DIY, which is 6 boxes. And then some wood glue. So I am making the fronts of the drawers, because this is a wee chest of drawers. So I made 3 of these, and they are just 2 blocks by 2 blocks in a rectangle. This DIY uses a lot of blocks, but you can cut it down if you use the cardboard or the foam board instead. And then I am gluing together 12 tower blocks, 6 on each side, and then I'm going to do 2 on the ends, each end of this, and I made 2 of these. And now I am doing 6 tower blocks with 2 in the middle, facing the other way, and then another 6 tower blocks. And then I am going to glue tower blocks around the outside of this, and I made 2 of those as well. I'm making 2 rectangles, and they are 3 blocks by 3 blocks. And one of these is going to be the base, so I'm adding some extra blocks inside it. Then I decided to add some more blocks. And then I am adding some wee half beads for feet. So I'm gluing together 6 blocks, and then it's going to be 3 blocks high, and then 2 tower blocks facing the other way, and then the same on the top. 6 blocks by 3, but this is actually wrong. You actually need 7 blocks, and then 2.5 in the middle. And I made 2 of these because these are the sides, but I do show you later on. I realised that I had done it wrong, and I show you me fixing it. And this is the back of my drawers, and it is 8 blocks along and 3 blocks high, and then 2.5 in the middle, and then another 8 blocks by 3 blocks. So I'm just going to glue them all together. I know this is a lot of blocks, but it's so worth it. Sometimes it's worth it just doing the extra work. I have to say that because I always do all these hard DIYs. No, but it definitely is worth it. I really do love how this one turned out. So I'm just going to glue the last 3 rows together now. So I made 3 of these, but I only actually needed 2 because I don't know, I was thinking 3 drawers, 3 shelves. So these are 8 blocks by and 2 blocks high, and you only need 2 of them. So I'm going to glue these 2 pieces together. This is the base, just deciding which I'm going to make the front, and then glue them together. And these are 5 tower blocks and then another 5 tower blocks on the side, and I actually made 15 of these because these are for the drawers. So you need 5 for each drawer. I'm going to use one for the base and put glue around the outside, and then I'm going to glue it's fallen over, the backs and the sides. And then let me just mix a box. So here's my 3 boxes. Oh, and I also made sure that the front of it was the flat side, which was on the table when I made it, because that's the side that you gotta stick the wallpaper to. I think I forgot to say that in the other DIYs. Whoopsie. But you need to use the flat side for the wallpaper. Anyway, I'm using the plaster chalk paint and I am just giving it a wash of that. And then you see I have 3 wee mushrooms there, and those are the wee mushrooms from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to paint them as well because I'm going to use them as knobs for the drawers. So here I'm just measuring for the top of the drawers, and I'm doing the same thing as I did for the first DIY. And I did forget to mention that it has to be on the flat side. So I just had it overlapping a wee bit at the sides because I don't want to see any gaps. And then I'm just going to glue it in place. Okay, so here's my drawers, and then this is the flat side. You can make all the sides sticking out, the flat sides, if you want to. But I'm just measuring it, and then I'm going to cut it. Well, I'm going to measure the 3 at one time on the paper because I want the paper, well, the pattern to like continue through the drawers. So I'm just measuring them all out, and then I'm going to cut them down. Yeah, I do love this wallpaper. I can't wait to see what Dollar Tree comes out with next. I don't know how they can beat this one. We'll see. So you just cut it with some scissors. And then you can stick them to the fronts of the boxes. I actually stuck them in the wrong place at first. I stuck them in the middle. But what I should have done, and I'll realise in the next clip, that I should have stuck the sticker to the top. But it came off easily, it was easy to move it because I had long stuck it down. Here, this is when I realised, and then I had to move the sticker up. Because the bottom of that frame is going to sit at the bottom of the drawer. I just have to do it with the next ones. And then you can just line up the tower blocks in the middle there, with the middle of the drawer. So I just used some wood glue for this, just to finish the video. I didn't want to go and rummage around in the cupboard just trying to find screws, but you should definitely screw these on. And then now I'm going to put my pieces together, and I don't know why I was making it so difficult. I put some tower blocks underneath because, you know, that one is sticking out, so it'll be steady, and then I was going to put the top on first and then the sides. And I thought this would be a good idea because I need to work out where the shelves are going to be before I glue it all together. But now you guys know where the shelves are going to be. You could just put it together and then paint it after you put it together if you want. Yeah, I only need 2 shelves, so I was picking which 2 I wanted. So I'm just putting them in place, and then I'm going to glue on the sides, just checking it again. So I'm just going to glue all that together, but don't make DIYs late at night. I make too many mistakes. I just don't have time during the day with the baby, so I gotta stay up late if I want to do some DIYs. So I'm just going to glue the other piece on now, and then in the next clip I decided to take the top off, and I turned it over, and because this is when I realised that I should have just put an extra tower block on the ends here, which I told you guys about earlier. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just adding the extra tower blocks all along the side. I do that on both sides. This was a wee bit I cut off earlier, and that fit in there. And then I do the same on the other side. And then I just have to take my miter shears and cut down a wee piece to fill in at the side there in the middle. I was just marking it with a pencil and then cutting it down. And then I glue that in place. Obviously I have to go back and paint those parts. But I'm gluing the top. Was this the top? No, this is the base. I'm gluing the base on, and then I'm going to glue the top on. Obviously it was a much better way of doing it than whatever I was trying to do before. And here it is. I love how this turned out, even though it gave me a headache at the time. It was worth it, but at least you guys know how to make it without all the mistakes now. For the first DIY you need 56 tower blocks, and I'm using some Dollar Tree super glue with glue for all these projects. I'm going to start with 28 blocks, and I'm gluing them 4 high and 7 across. So I make 2 of these, but I'm only going to show you one. You only have to make 1 if you want to, or you could make more than 2 if you want to. I like to glue them like this instead of in sections because they fit together better. And then I just squeeze them all and wipe them with a wet paper towel. And here I have 18 blocks, and it's going to be 2 sets of 9. And this time I am gluing them together on their side. And I'm going to glue the 2 pieces together, and I'm gluing it right in the middle of those tower blocks. So there's 1 tower block on each side, and here I have some geometric beads, and I'm going to glue them down. And you can see the corners have the holes facing up, so make sure you do that because you don't want to see them on the front or the sides. And then I just keep gluing them all the way around. I will link these beads in the description box down below, and they are like the tower blocks. They're not all the same size, so you have to lay them out first and make sure they're all going to fit, and then you can just swap out any ones that are bigger or too small so that you get the right fit. And now I am just putting them, already measured them out on the top there, and then I am just gluing them on. But you can see that those corners I have the holes facing up, but that is wrong. I made a mistake. They are supposed to be facing all the same way. I mean, you could do it like that if you wanted to, but I do have to go fix that in a minute. And I'm going to use wee half beads to cover up the holes, and I will link them down below as well. I think they're like 10mm. You could always fill the holes with some wood filler or some spackle, but I think the beads see, that's when I realised they were the wrong way. So I just turned them round, and then I'm just putting the beads on now. I also add them on the bottom, and then I'm going to show you at the end of this clip that you can have these just standing up, or you can have them as wall sconces. And this is just some paint from my house. It's a similar colour to Waverley's chalk paint in the colour Celery, and I am just brushing that on over the whole thing. If you wanted to do the beads a separate colour, then I would paint the back part first. I was going to stain these. I was going to stain all the DIYs today, but I'm always using that early American stain, and I thought I would just switch it up and see what different colours look like with these beads. So I'm choosing this colour for this first DIY, but you can change it and make it any colour you want, any colour that goes with your decor. Once they are dry, I'm just taking a piece of sandpaper and I'm rubbing over all those beads to bring out the square pattern on them. And you could also just use some paint to distress these if you don't want to use sandpaper, or you could use rub and buff. You don't even have to distress these, you could just leave them all one colour. I do that later on in the video. And then I am just attaching some sawtooth hangers to the back. And this is what they look like if you just have them standing up. And this is what they look like on the wall. You could add some florals or greenery to these. You'll see later in the video I do put a plant on the other ones, so you don't have to put candles on these, you could do something else. You need 46 blocks for this next DIY. And I glue together 10 blocks, 5 on each side. And then I make a rectangle, and it is 5 blocks high, and then 2 blocks across, and then another 5 blocks on the other side to make a rectangle. So I already laid out the beads, and each corner has a bead facing up the way, and all the others are facing towards each other on the inside. If you wanted it to, you could do the beads all facing the same way and not facing up in the corners, because you won't really notice. But I like to put the wee beads on it. So I'm just going to glue these all the way around. And just be careful you don't put too much glue, because you don't want it to seep out and you can always wipe it away with a wet paper towel, or sometimes I use a wee paintbrush to get rid of the glue in between the beads. If you're painting it, it doesn't matter so much, but if you want to stain it, then you have to get rid of the glue, or it will, well, the stain doesn't take to the glue. And you see there I made another mistake. I put that one at the corner facing the wrong way. But I do fix it when I realise. I realised because I have to put the wee beads on here. I just think they finish off the project nice. And then I'm going round the outside with some tower blocks. And I do have to cut a couple down. So I just take a pencil and mark off where I need to cut. And then I get my miter shears and I cut it down. Sometimes they're easy to cut and sometimes they're not. And then I just glue all these in place. You could make this bigger if you wanted to. Or you can make it wider, you can make it into a square. It'd be nice if it was a mirror or a picture frame. I'm just wiping away all the excess glue, and then I'm going to stick the wee shelf on. I decided that that wasn't going to be strong enough, so I'm just adding 2 more tower blocks right underneath that shelf. Then I painted it with some folk art nautical coloured chalk paint. I'm just slapping it on. And you've got to make sure you get in all the wee nooks and crannies. Remember, if you don't like this colour, you can make it a different colour. And I'm going to take some sandpaper again and then sand down the beads. And I make sure I sand every edge of those beads. Because when you're just, they're all different sizes, so when you're just sanding on the top, sometimes you miss the edges. So I just go around and make sure I do every single one of those. Then I just wiped it off with a wet paper towel. And then I attached a sawtooth hanger to the back. And this one actually was from Dollar Tree, and it's smaller than the other ones I use in the video. You've got to make sure that the screws aren't going to go all the way through your tower blocks or split them. And this is what it looks like with a candle in it. You could put some paper on, like scrapbook paper on the other side in the middle, or you could fill it up with the tower blocks. You don't have to keep it open. And this is what it looks like if you put a plant on it. Obviously you'd get a better looking pot than this. I just thought I would shove it on and see what it looked like. You need 50 tower blocks for this DIY. I'm gluing together 18 blocks and I'm standing them on their side, and then there's 2 sections and 9 blocks are in each section. Here I am gluing together 4 tower blocks end to end, and then I am gluing in some geometric beads, but I am leaving a space. That's where I want to put the shelf that I just made, and I counted 8 blocks, and then where the 9th block is supposed to be is where I'm going to put that shelf. And all the blocks are, all the beads are stuck together because I already made this DIY and I totally forgot to leave out the blocks so I could fit the shelf in. So then I did 2 rows of tower blocks in the middle, and then another row of beads, and then another row of tower blocks on the outside. Now I am gluing the shelf on. And then I am going to glue some tower blocks, some beads to the front of that shelf. And then all the holes are going the same way for this. And you should wait for yours to dry before you try and move it. And you could leave it this size if you wanted to, but I wanted a long sconce, a long skinny sconce. So I'm just adding in another 4 blocks on the bottom, and then there's the beads that I already stuck together. I'm just gluing those in place. If you wanted to, you could do more rows of the beads. You could have 3 rows of beads. You could make this wider, or you could have 2 rows of beads stuck together. You can do lots of different stuff with this. And I am just gluing the wee half beads to the ends of the wee shelf, and then to the beads at the top and the bottom. And I'm going to use some Waverly plaster chalk paint for this one. And I have my wee helper again. And people keep saying that she's trying to help me craft. She's trying to eat the crafts. She wants to eat everything. I do read all your guys' comments, I just don't have time to reply to them all. I think I'll start just giving you guys a heart and stuff, unless you ask a question, just so you know that I've read it. Because I've been trying to reply to them, but I'm never going to get through them all. do appreciate all the comments though. You guys are really nice. This is her wee favourite giraffe toy she likes to play with. She likes to chew on it. She did end up getting paint on her hands, so that's why she's only in this part of the video. This is the first one that I painted. And I couldn't do the blocks and that with her there. So she'll be in the videos sometimes. And then if it's the block videos, I don't know. She want to grab everything too much. So I'm just adding a sawtooth hanger to the back of this. So I did intend to put one of those pillar candles on this, but then, I don't know, it just didn't look right. So I found this wee candle and I put that there. But then the next clip I'm going to show you what it looks like with a plant on it. And here it is with the plant. And you could also put like a wee trinket or ornament or something on these. The first DIY, you're going to need 2 tower blocks, because you'll need 120 tower blocks altogether, and some wood glue. I'm using the Dollar Tree Super Glue wood glue. Glue together 4 sets of 2. And then 8 sets of 3. And here I'm just making them into a U shape. And you notice I'm sticking the blocks on top of the set of 2 and not at the side, which is what I do later on for the bigger DIYs. And this wood round I got from Amazon, and it was in a pack of 12. I'll link it down below. But I'm just gluing it down in the middle, and then I glue the next one in the middle of the first one, and it's going to make a cross shape. And you want to try and make sure that everything is centered properly. And then I do the next one across diagonally. And I try and make sure like there's an even space between each of the tower blocks that's sticking up. You just have to eyeball it. And then I glued the next one right on the top of that smallest candle holder. So I'm just going to leave this dry now and then move on to the next one. So I made 4 more of those U shapes, and now I'm just gluing together 4 blocks on the wide side, and then I'm adding another block on each side of that so that it looks like this. And then I'm going to glue it to one of those wood rounds. So this time I glued it on going straight across the tower blocks like this. And then I glued them the same way as I did the last candle holder. If you want to, you could use 1 or 2 or more tower blocks for the sides of the U. I just chose to do 3 because I'm using candles from Dollar Tree and they fit in here perfect, by the way. And I thought that that looked best with them. So here I am, I'm just going to make the next one. I made 4 U shapes again, and now I am gluing together 6 sets of 2 tower blocks end to end. And then I'm going to glue them together like I did the last one. Now if I was going to make these again, I would probably make the second one with the 2 tower blocks like this, and then I would make the third one with maybe 4 or 5, just so the heights are more staggered. So I just glued that to the wood round, and then this time I glued them on diagonally to see what they looked like, and I think this looks better. So it's up to you. You can either glue them diagonally across the tower blocks on the bottom, or you can do it right across the tower blocks. It's up to you. So I'm just stacking them up again. This time I didn't wait for the glue to set between each one, but you should definitely do that. You can also paint them or stain them before you glue them together, if that's easier for you. And I stained it with some early American wood stain by Minwax. And this is how they turned out. This is with the light on, obviously. And I love how they turned out. I might try paint them another colour to see what they look like. But I would definitely make them taller if I was going to make them again. And this is what they look like when the candles are switched on. I was going to say lit. And these are just the ones from Dollar Tree. DIY, you need 104 tower blocks, so that's 2 packs of the 72 blocks, and then some wood glue, and then I made 8 sets of 2 tower blocks end to end, and I'm making the U shape again, but this time I am just gluing a tower block to each end of 4 of the pieces, and then I'm gluing this in the center as I can get it, and then I am just going to glue them and stack them up just like I did for the last DIY, and clean off as much excess glue as you can. Again, you could paint these before you glue them together, or you could paint them at this stage before you add the other tower blocks on. Now I am going to glue on the rest of the tower blocks, and I'm starting with the shortest one and then working my way up to the tallest piece. And you should let this all dry before you stick the other wood round on the top. But I'm impatient, so I didn't wait. So I'm just going to glue the other one on the top, and that's it for this part of the DIY. So the next part, you need 16 of these sets of 2 tower blocks, and then I made 4 U shapes, and you see that I stuck the tower blocks on the top and not the side of the bottom part. And I'm just going to stack it up and glue it the exact same as I did for the last one. So I'm doing the same design basically for each of these DIYs, but I just wanted to show you what the different sizes would look like and if you put them all together. I'm just going to add the last one, and then I'm going to glue the other tower blocks on the top, starting with the smallest one and working my way up to the biggest one. So you guys can paint these or stain these to whatever colour suits your decor, whatever colour is your favourite. I just did the antique wax because it's easier for me to just slap it on and leave it to dry. Painting them, I don't have time to paint all these things this time, so they're all just the one colour. Maybe I might go and paint over them when I have some time later and see what they look like in different colours. So here I've just put the top on, and that's the end of this part of the DIY. And I have another 8 sets of 2 tower blocks, and then I have 8 sets of 3 tower blocks. And I'm making the 4 U shapes again. And then I'm just repeating what I did for the last 2 parts of the DIY. And the lighting is different in this because Fabian was taking pictures of the moon with my camera, because it zooms all the way to the moon. And I didn't realise he changed the settings on it until I started editing the video. But you can still see what's going on. So I'm just finishing up with this DIY. And you can make these taller as well. You could make them more, you could do like the first one tower block at the side, and then 3, and then 5 if you wanted to. I'm making them into candle holders, but you could put wee mini plants on there or ornaments. You could also put something in the middle before you glue it if you wanted to, but this is how they turned out. So you need 32 tower blocks for this DIY, so that's 1 box, and then some wood glue, and then I'm doing 8 sets of 3, so you can see which parts I filmed last by the lighting. And I'm making the 4 U shapes, but here I am sticking the tower blocks to the ends of the set of 3. Not on the top like I did the last one. It just depends on the size of your wood rounds. These are 7-inch wood rounds and they are from Walmart. And then I'm just doing the same thing I did for the other DIYs. It's just bigger this time. And this is going to be a riser because someone asked me about risers and I don't really ever make them, but I'm going to start making more. So now I am gluing it, but you have to glue it on the inside. And then this is 4 times the speed of what it actually is, so I do hold it for a few seconds for it to set. I'm gluing the top on now, and then I'm just going to turn it over so that it can dry. I decided to add some beads to this, and I will link them down below. You could also add beads to the candle holders if you wanted to. And I'm staining it with the Minwax Early American Wood Stain. And this is how it turned out. DIY, you need 56 blocks, so you just need 1 tower block pack and then some wood glue. And I'm making 4 sets of 3 tower blocks glued end to end. And then I make 8 sets of 4 tower blocks. And then I made 4 U shapes and I glued them on the outside of the tower blocks on the bottom. And then I got another 7-inch wood round and I'm just going to glue it exact same as I did all the other DIYs. To show you how it would look if I made it on a much bigger scale, you can of course use an even wider wood round if you wanted to. You could double up the blocks if you wanted to make it stronger. This into a plant stand, but I don't know if you doubled up the blocks, maybe you could make a wee side table, make it much taller. Or if you use a bigger wood round, you can make a wee side table. Also make this into a lantern, although if you get a battery opry candles, you could probably still change the batteries in it with it stuck inside. You could definitely switch it on and off. You could put some florals in here or some greenery. You could put a smaller wood round in it and then put an ornament inside or something if you wanted to. So here I have 4 sets of 3 tower blocks, and I see my mistake. I was gonna glue it on the very top there. So this time I'm turning it upside down. Oh no, I'm showing you here because it was easier. So I'm just gluing them and doing it from the tallest to the shortest this time because I'm doing it upside down. And there you go, I'm quickly showing you each time. Remember, this is 4 times the speed. 2, you could make more of the U shapes and fill in the gaps a wee bit. I'm not sure how that would look. I was going to try it, but this was my last 6 boxes of tower blocks. I have ordered 2 more cases, so I'm hoping they come next week because I still have tower block ideas. I don't know where they come from, but I still have plenty. So I'm just going to glue the bottom on now. Actually, that's the top. And I'm just cleaning up any glue. So here I am just going to glue on some beads just over each of those joins. You don't have to do this. You could put beads all the way down, or you could just put 1 bead on. It's up to you. You could even put different sizes of beads on and see what that looks like. So as usual, I didn't wait for the top to dry. I just got on with putting on the beads. But definitely make sure all your stuff dries properly before you move on to the next step. See, it's coming off there. It's because I'm impatient and I didn't wait. I just wanted to get finished for the video. So I thought I would just strengthen it up a wee bit. And I'm going to show you where I place these. These are underneath the lid. Well, not the lid, the top. Because you would see them on the bottom. You see where I placed them. And it just gives a wee bit extra support. You're not going to put nothing heavy on this anyway. And then I stained it with early American wood stain. And this is how it turned out. I love how it turned out. Let me know which of these is your favourite. Are you going to try making them? Which colours would you use? DIYs for you today. So the first DIY, you only need 7 tower blocks and then some wood glue. So it's not much of a tower block DIY, but it does use them. This is a coaster. I got a set of 12 from Amazon. I will link it down below. And then I'm just gluing down a tower block, and then I'm just placing a Christmas tree in between the tower blocks. I'm not gluing them down yet, and I'm just going to keep doing that all the way around. What I should have done is set it all out first before I started gluing it and made my spacing better, so you guys will know to do that instead. But you don't have to use Christmas trees for this. You could use the wee mushrooms or the angels or the snowmen in place of the Christmas trees. So I'm just using the Christmas trees as spacers because we are not gluing them to this part of the DIY. This wooden plaque is from Dollar Tree, and I'm just placing the part that I just made on top. I'm not gluing it down, but I am going to glue the trees in between each of those tower blocks. I know you can't really see what I'm doing right now, but that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to do it all the way around. Don't worry, I will show you in just a sec what it looks like. And then I'm gluing these right to that rim. That's a quick look. And then I stained the pieces with some golden oak gel stain by Varathane, and I've got my wee helper back, and now I'm going to glue the pieces together. I didn't want to glue them together because obviously I had the stain on the inside. I love how this turned out. Obviously you can paint it or stain it any colour you like. I chose to use the golden oak, but I just placed a candle on it. You could also put a wee plant on it. And then this is a rechargeable battery operated candle from Amazon, so I'll link them down below as well. A set of three different sizes. So for this DIY you need 80 tower blocks and obviously some wood glue. I'm gluing together this square of tower blocks, and it is 16 blocks across and 5 blocks high. I'm not going to show you me gluing the whole thing. And always just make sure you wipe off any excess glue. And if you don't want to use this many blocks, you could stick some foam board to the back and just do the frame part I'm going to do on the front. Or you could put blocks behind the edge, the frame that I'm going to make, and then leave the middle out and then put some foam board in there if you wanted to. So I am just making 2 squares, and you see each tower block, one end is touching the side of the block before it, so it makes a perfect square. And I make 2 of these. And I like to use a paintbrush sometimes to get in the wee corners and stuff to get rid of the glue. And then I'm gluing together 3 tower blocks at the top and the bottom. I'm making 4 sets of 3 tower blocks. And then I am going to glue these to the top and the bottom to make a frame. If you want to, you could paint or stain your frame before you glue it to the back of the blocks, the back piece. If you wanted to have it a different colour, you would do that after you glue it together. So now I'm just putting some glue on the back so I can attach it to the other piece. Now the top and the bottom is a little bit longer than this back piece, so you just have to line up so that you can't notice that there is they're not as long, if that makes sense. Once it's all put together you can't even see. And then I'm going to use these wee Christmas trees again, and I'm just going to glue one in each corner. Again, you could use any of the wee pieces for this, or you don't even have to use these. You could put like a half bead in there, or you could just leave it blank. And I stained it all with the golden oak stain again. Wee helper's back. And I am just attaching a sawtooth hanger to the back. And the wee screwdriver that they gave me with it was too small and not working, so I got one of these ones that was a pack from Dollar Tree. You could always string up some beads to make a hanger for this. You don't have to do it like this. And this is a Noel sign from a Christmas tree decoration from Dollar Tree. They had snow and hope and they had different colours, but I thought that I would put it in here. I put it in the middle, but I decided to take the greenery off it because I'm going to change it for something that looks better. And I'm just hot gluing that in the middle. You could also put some scrapbook paper in there. You could put a picture in there. You don't have to use this Noel sign. And then here's some greenery from Dollar Tree, and I am going to glue it in these spaces on the frame. These berries are also from Dollar Tree. So I was just figuring out how I wanted to place the greenery. That's always the hardest part for me. And if you can't find the Christmas trees, did I say it already? You could put pine cones in there. That would look nice. Also, you could use this for any season. You don't just have to use it for Christmas. Or you don't even have to use it for a season. There's like so many possibilities with this frame. So I'm just hot gluing down the berries. And then I did the other side the same. And I'm going to do the top and the bottom different from the sides. You could do them all the same if you wanted to. But I'm just trimming these pieces down. For the top and the bottom, I wanted to put the berries in the middle. So I'm just gluing these pieces in place, and then I'm going to put 3 berries in the middle, and then I have the branches kind of curving down the way, and for the bottom I'm going to have them curving up the way. I'm definitely going to make different versions of this frame in the future, so keep an eye out for that. I didn't like how the bow was looking, so I redid that off camera and made a wee tail on it. And then I also added back the cherries, not the cherries, the berries, and the wee pine cones that came off it. But I didn't bother showing you that because I just hot gluing them back on. And this is how it turned out, and I love this. It's so Christmassy. I just love that colour wood with the red and the green. I think it looks so pretty. For this DIY, you need 83 tower blocks. And I'm going to start by making a rectangle. So I have 2 blocks along the bottom and 1 either side, and they're standing on their side. And then I have some geometric beads, and the corners are with the hole facing up, and the others, the holes are all facing in the same direction. And then I'm just gluing them all together. I only had a few geometric beads left. I've ordered some more because I just love how things look with them, and I still have loads more ideas for them. If you wanted to, you could use the round beads for this, or the half beads. I'm just taking a paintbrush to get rid of any of the excess glue in between. And now I'm going to frame it with some more tower blocks, 3 along the top and the bottom and 2 at the side. If you wanted to, you could do this for the sides of the box as well. Obviously the 2 ends would have to be smaller, but I didn't have enough of the geometric beads to make all the sides like this. And now I am just gluing a wee half bead on top of each of those holes. You don't have to do this either, you could just put the holes on the inside. So for the side of this, I have 2 tower blocks I'm gluing together in that direction, and then I'm gluing together 6 on the other direction. That one was too skinny. And then another 6 straight onto those, and then another 2 at the end. If you wanted to see the geometric beads on the other side of this box, then I would just make enough tower blocks to just cover that wee window on the other side, but I wanted to cover up the whole thing, because this is what's going to keep the lid in place as well. And then I am going to glue on 3 of these wee trees. You can use any of the wooden shapes for this, or you could put a wee picture in there, or like a wee wooden snowflake or something, just whatever season you make it for, or you could put someone's name in there. So I'm making 2 sets of 9 tower blocks, and they're all laying flat, and this is going to be the sides at the back and the front. And then this is 2 sets of 6 tower blocks, and that's for the sides. And this is the base of the box. You need 21 blocks, and they are going to be 3 blocks across and 7 blocks high, and they're laying flat as well. And like I said, I just kept the sides simple. You could do the blocks facing the other way if you wanted to have them all going straight across. And when I get more beads, I will make another version of it with them on the sides and stuff as well. But I stained it in the golden oak as well. And here I am just gluing all the pieces together. And now if I make it again, I am going to do this part first, and then I will do the lid, the back of the lid. I will make sure that it fits in better than this, because at one side it kind of sticks out a couple millimeters. So that's what I'll do different next time. So I decided I wanted to use these wee blocks from Dollar Tree in the corners, and I should have done that before I painted it. Stained it, sorry. And yeah, I'm just gluing 1 in each corner, and then I'm going to stain it, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. So this is it with the box closed. You can always add some ribbon or something to the sides if you want to, but I love how this turned out. I'm going to make one with some wee mushrooms on it, and I'll do the sides as well. I'll show you that to you guys soon. And then I'm going to show you the inside of the box at the end of this clip. There you go. And it fits nicely, the lid fits nice in it. And you need 72 blocks for the first DIY and some wood glue. I'm making a rectangle with 3 blocks on each side and then 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. Gluing the top and the bottom on the inside of the tower blocks. And I always wipe off any excess glue with a wet paper towel. So I already made 3 sets of 3 tower blocks glued end to end, so that's 4 altogether. And then I have some geometric beads, I will link them down below. I've turned one of the tower blocks on their side, and then I'm gluing the beads to it, and I'm gluing them with all the holes facing the same way so that you can't see them at all. So the holes are on either end of that piece. And I do this for the second one. And then these are going to be the sides, and then I glue my other 2 sets of tower blocks on the top of the bottom of this, and then I'm just placing in the geometric beads to make sure that they are going to fit, because these are like the tower blocks, they're not all the same size, so you just have to swap them out and then make sure you get a good fit. Once I was happy with that, I went ahead and glued them in, and I glued all the holes facing each other just like I did on the last 2 pieces. And obviously I'm gluing them to the tower blocks as well. And I'm just gluing this piece last just to make sure I get a good fit for everything. I'm going to turn my piece over with the geometric beads and put some wood glue on the back, and then I'm just going to glue the 2 pieces together. I'm gluing together 3 blocks end to end, and then I'm going to do 2 rows of 9 blocks and then another row of 3 blocks just like the first row. I don't know why my camera is moving with me. I don't think it's me on the table. I think maybe one of the settings has been changed. I'll have to try and remember about that, so sorry about that. So you can glue these pieces separately, then glue them all together, but I think it's better doing it like this, and all the blocks fit together better. So I've turned my other piece with the beads on it over, and then I am just adding tower blocks right along the inside edge. Again, you could put this together and then stick the whole piece of blocks on, but I think it's better doing it this way. And I just make sure they're all sticking up straight and they're all in line with each other. And I'm always wiping away any excess glue, because if you stain your tower blocks, the glue will show, the stain doesn't take over it. So I'm just attaching the other piece to the back, and I'm just getting rid of the excess glue that is on the other side of this. I actually decided I'm not going to stain this, but I am going to paint the inside. I'm using some of this nautical folk art chalk paint and some Waverly plaster chalk paint, and I'm just going to paint the back and the top and the sides with the nautical paint, because this is going to be a wee shadow box. You could turn it the other way around as well if you wanted to. And it's night time, so I'm doing a dark sky. And then the row of tower blocks underneath the beads on the inside, I'm not doing that. I'm just doing the ones that are facing the other way, if that makes sense. And you don't have to paint it perfect, because once you put the stuff in, you're not going to see much of the paint anyway. And then I just blast it with my heat gun. And I noticed I got a wee bit of paint on one of the beads, so I'm just going to sand that off. And I'm painting the plaster paint on the bottom now because that's the snow. And I made this, so I wasn't sure what I was going to put inside it. I knew it was going to be a shadow box. So you could paint it before you glue the two pieces together, and that would make it much easier. And I took a wee mini brush and I'm just doing some dots of plaster paint all over the blue, and that can either be snowflakes or stars. And this is how it's looking, and I have all these wee Christmas trees. Most are from Dollar Tree, I think they're all from Dollar Tree actually. I don't know, I got them last year, and I'm just setting them out how I think I want them to sit inside it, and have this wee truck that's from Dollar Tree that I got last year. I actually went to Dollar Tree to get something to fill this out for the one that I went to, because I didn't have a lot of time. Had no Christmas stuff at all. I thought they all had Christmas stuff by now, but this one didn't. So I'm making that tree shorter because I don't want all the big trees to be the same size. And I'm just using pliers to cut them down because they've got metal inside them. And I'm just making them all different sizes. The ones at the front, I don't have the little wooden bit on the bottom, because you're going to see those parts, but the back you're not going to see it, so it doesn't matter. And then I just start filling it out. Some of them were easier to cut than others. Anyway, my camera cut out and I glued the rest of the stuff in, and now I have these picks that I got from Amazon. I'll link them down below, and I'm just going to glue them on the top. And I think this turned out so cute. You could make a wee scene for any time of the year with this. You need 2 boxes for this DIY because you need 88 blocks. So I'm just making a rectangle like I did in the first DIY, but I made 4 of them. And this DIY, you could make more of these, you can add on to it. I just did 4. I'm just making it like the last DIY. 3 tower blocks on their side, glued together, and then I am gluing the geometric beads. And you need to make 2 of these. So there's my 2 pieces, and now I have 2 sets of 3 tower blocks glued end to end. And then I'm just going to assemble my frame. This is exactly the same as the first DIY. I put these pieces together first, and then I fit all my beads inside. And then I just glue the beads down. I glue this piece on last. I turn over my piece with the geometric beads and then I glue it on top of the other piece, and I did that for all of them, rest them off camera, and now I am gluing them together. And I didn't make sure all my tower blocks were the right size, so you can see a gap in the middle there and a gap at the top, and I didn't do anything with the gap in the middle, but the one at the top off camera I did cut a little bit of tower block and put it in there, and then I'm just putting some extra tower blocks on the back to make it stronger. And then I painted it with some Waverly plaster chalk paint, but before I paint it, you see I did a mistake there. I did one with the hole showing, so I just got some spackle from Dollar Tree. Mine is so dried out. You can also use a wood filler to fill in the hole, and then I'm just painting over it, and you can't even notice it. Remember, you can paint or stain these DIYs to match your decor. If you don't like the colours that I use, then pick the ones that you do like. I just did one coat of this, and I did make sure that I got in between all those wee beads, all the wee spaces. And I do the rest off camera. I have some Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm just going to rub some on with my finger, and I just want to put it on the edges of these beads just to highlight the squares, and then at the sides of the tower blocks. I just want to pick out all the detail. You could just use a brush and brush over it, but I wanted it to just be on the edges. I have my wee helper now, she's holding my DIY in place. So I also got these pics of Amazon, and I thought that I could just wrap it around and it would stay in place, but that didn't work. Maybe if I just kept it standing up, as I was gonna just do that so that I could swap it out for other stuff, but I decided just to glue the pieces on. So I'm just gluing them all in place, and those little shear things are from Dollar Tree, and they cut through the wire quite good. I can never find all the florals and picks, the nice ones that people use at Dollar Tree, so I ordered these, and I really like them actually. So I decided that I wanted to use another one of those picks, so I'm just cutting off the pieces and then gluing them in place. So this DIY, you could make it into a picture frame and then stick some pictures on the back, like stick them to the back, or you could get like Christmas cards with nice pictures on them and use them, or you could get like what are they called? The wood cutouts and stuff, and you could put like a wee reindeer and stuff in this. You don't have to keep it as a plain window, but I wanted to keep it like this and make it like a backdrop for the rest of my Christmas decor. And people love decorating with windows. I've seen so many of them on YouTube. And I love how this turned out. I just love those geometric beads. That's why I use them all the time. They just look so pretty. on your projects. And remember, you can make this bigger, you can make it longer, wider, add as many of these rectangle pieces on as you want. You need 2 boxes for this DIY, which is going to be 129 blocks you need. And I already made 11 of these pieces at the side, and they are just 2 tower blocks glued together, then 6 geometric beads, and then another 2 tower blocks. So now I'm doing the same thing again, and I'm doing it in 3 tower blocks across. I'm making 3 of them because I'm going to join those 3 pieces together to make the long pieces at the side. And I didn't have enough space on my mat to make it all at one time, and also the ruler only still goes so far, so it was easier to do it like this. Actually, I made 4 of those big long ones. I realised after I made that video and I forgot about it till I seen it just now. So I laid all the 4 pieces out, and then I put 4 of the smaller pieces in between. I'm just gluing them, and I'm making sure that the geometric beads all line up with each other. And you'll see that there's a bit missing of the tower block at the top and the bottoms there, but I'll show you what I do for that in a minute. And then you can't see the whole thing because it's quite big, but I just do that until I've used up all the pieces. And then sometimes it's like a puzzle getting the pieces to fit together, because everything is not made the same. So I'm going to fill in all those gaps now, and I just take a tower block, I mark off how much I need to cut, and then I use some miter shears to cut them, and then I just glue them in place. And then I do that all the way around. I'll just show you me doing a couple of them. Some of the blocks are easy to cut and others are not easy. If one is not easy to cut, then just try again. That's what I do. Some of them kind of feel lighter though, and feel like they're not as dense, and those ones are easier to cut. And I don't know, they kind of look different from the other ones. Yeah, they have like a different texture. I don't know if it would even show up in camera. Maybe next time I'll try and show you which ones cut easy and which don't, and see if it shows up on camera what they look like. So I had to do it at the other side, which is cut off. You can't see. I did that as well. Some of them go flying. And then I painted the whole thing with some of the Folk Art Nautical chalk paint. And now I am just sanding it down because I wanted to stress it and then pick out all the detail. So first I was using a sanding block, but it wasn't getting the beads that good, so then I just used the sandpaper. My original plan was to use the white wax on this, so I tested it on the back because I painted the back as well. And I didn't like how it looked, but I don't know if you want to do that. And also, you don't have to do this color. You can do another color, or you could just stain it. You could just leave it natural. This color is going to go with my decor, so that's why I picked it. And I made sure I sanded all the sides and all the inside parts there as well. And then I took a wet paper towel and I just wiped off all the excess dust. And then I took my heat gun to I blew out all the little bits of dust that it collected where the beads are. Have my helper again. And I have these other picks from Amazon. I'll link them down below as well. And I was going to just wrap them around, but that's not going to work. So I have to cut them down and glue them. So I'm just seeing how many fit. I'm laughing at her. So this video, their videos are speeded up 4 times, so it looks like total chaos when she's there, but it's not really. Everything's happening a lot faster in the video. I'm just using those shears from Dollar Tree again to cut down my picks. Get those bits out in case she grabbed them. And then I'm just going to hot glue them to this, what are these ring things called? I can't remember what it's called. I know they sell them in, I got this one from Temu, but I know they sell them in Dollar Tree. I really can't remember what it's called right now. Anyway, I just hot glue this, the picks all the way around. And because it was lying down and she was there, it was further away from me, I couldn't see that it looked kind of bare. So I do go in and put another layer of them on it. She dropped the stuff. I don't know why she's obsessed with my lip balm, probably because I put it on all the time. So I was trying to cut the bits off these, but it didn't work. And then I just folded the wire back, and then my camera cut out, so you can't see me gluing them on, but I'm just gluing them on like the other stuff. So here I'm just going in with some more of those picks. I didn't want to use that many, but I needed to. I still have a few left though. There is like a big pack with different ones in it. So I have some much bigger ones, which I don't know what I'm going to do with yet. If you don't want to hot glue the stuff on, you could just use some floral wire. I don't have any, so I'm gluing them. So, the other thing I forgot to mention was there one set of the squares, well it's squares, and then at the top there you see where the ribbon is, those ones are a little bit smaller than the 2 bottom triangles, if that makes sense. Anyway, this ribbon is from Dollar Tree, and I am just going to glue it to the top to hang my wreath. And then I made a bow off camera, and I am just going to glue that on. Not usually into bows, but it's Christmas, so they work. And I love how this turned out. I just love that blue and the geometric beads. And then you can just take the wreath off and decorate it for whenever. And also you could make this into picture frames as well. So for this DIY you need 104 blocks, so that will be 2 packs, and some wood glue. So I'm gluing together 7 tower blocks end to end, but that's wrong. You only need 6. I don't know why I thought I needed 7. And then 3 tower blocks end to end, and you need 2 of those as well. And then this is 6 tower blocks by 11 tower blocks. If you wanted to, you could just make it 7 by 11. I like to lay them all out first and make sure they are all going to fit together, and then I like to glue them like this because it gets a better fit than doing the sections and gluing the sections together. So now I am just gluing 2 tower blocks in each corner, and I'm doing it like this because I'm leaving the corner space to put those wee shapes in. And then I'm just cleaning off any excess glue with a wet paper towel. I'm going to use the wee snowmen. I'm putting one in each corner, and then I'm going to glue them down with the wood glue. You can use the Christmas trees for this part if you want to. I just thought I would use the snowmen and the Christmas trees in this DIY. So now I'm just putting 3 Christmas trees on each side in the middle. And the Christmas trees are not all the same size. Some are fat and some are skinny. And then I just glue them down with the wood glue. And then I glue a tower block to each side of the trees. If you wanted to, you could put more trees going along, or you could do trees going along the whole side. I do go back in and put more tower blocks in because I thought it was a bit open looking, but you'll see that in the next clip. And these wee shapes don't have to just be Christmas trees or snowmen. You can use them as feet on your projects, on your trays and stuff. So always make sure you clean up any excess glue. And now I'm just attaching the top parts and putting the 3 tower blocks on the side, and this is when I realised I had made it too long. So I just snapped that one off. And I did the same for the other side. So this is when I decided to put another tower block in the middle of each of these sides. Well, the 2 long sides. I don't know why I didn't use the tower blocks that I had already used, that I took off of my mistake. I did use one of them because they already had some glue on them. So this is what it looks like. And just putting some half beads on the bottom in the corners for feet. And I stained it with some Early American wood stain by Minwax. And I love how this turned out. It looks so nice and cozy. Kinda gives me a log cabin feel. And that wee candle is the one that I hauled in my last haul video. That's what it looks like lit up. It was obviously from Dollar Tree. All those things were from Dollar Tree. My wee helper's not in this video because she wasn't feeling well when I filmed it, but she'll be in the next one. So for this DIY you just need 4 tower blocks, but obviously it depends on how many of these you want to make, how many tower blocks you'll need. So I am just gluing them together on their side in a square. I'm only making 3 because I have these 3 shapes. So I'm putting on the snowman, and then the Christmas tree, and then the wee angel. I'm taking the wings off. And then I stained it with some early American wood stain. So I'm using some plaster chalk paint because I ended up making another 3. And I am just going to paint them on all the sides and the inside with the plaster chalk paint. I'm only going to show you me painting one of these. You can paint these any colour you want. I just decided to go with this colour. I thought I would just show you 2 different versions. I just gave it 1 coat of paint. I'm just painting the wee snowman, his body and his head with the plaster chalk paint, and I'm also going to paint the angel with the chalk paint, with the plaster chalk paint. And then I'm using some black paint to paint the snowman's wee hat. And then I paint on wee eyes and a wee mouth for him. I'm just using some green paint to paint the Christmas tree. And then I put some wee eyes on the angel with the black paint. While those were drying, I decided to distress these pieces with some sandpaper. And now I'm just gluing on the wee shapes with some wood glue. And then I'm going to glue the angel wings on with some hot glue. And I'm just going to glue the other angel wings on the stained version. And then I have this twine that's got some cream through it, and I just trimmed a bit off and tied it around the snowman for a scarf. I did put a wee bead of hot glue on just to keep it in place, and then for the wee front part as well. And then I'm going to do that on the other snowman as well. These turned out so cute. So I decided to use this ribbon from Dollar Tree to decorate the outside of this one, and I'm just hot gluing it in place. I just started it in the middle at the top and then hot gluing it all the way around. So I'm just showing you some different ideas for what you can do with these. And then I have some twine, and I just put it through and then tied it in a knot twice, then put it together and then tied in 2 knots at the top. I only tied 1 there. And then I burnt all the wee hairs off, and then I tied it again, and then I just trimmed off the excess, and that's the first one done. I have this other ribbon from Dollar Tree, so I'm going to put that around the outside of this wee angel. I'm just hot gluing that on. And then I burn off all the wee hairs. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. And then I'm just going to put a hanger on this one. For this next one, I decided to use this blue ribbon, and I'm just going to do the same thing. Once I cut off how much I want, I'm going to tie it twice and then put it together and tie a knot at the top, and then trim off the excess, and then I'm going to make a wee bow. And I'm just hot gluing that to the top, and then that's that one finished. I'm going to use this other ribbon from Dollar Tree. I was thinking maybe I could use that for a hanger, but it was kind of big. You could use it for a hanger if you wanted to. And I'm just hot gluing that one around the side, just like I did with the other stuff. And then I'm going to put a hanger on that one. And then you can add stuff like beads to them. So I'm just adding some wee half beads to this one. And then I'm going to put a hanger on it. And I am using this, no I'm not. I'm just putting the same hanger on as I did most of the other ones. And then burning off the wee hairs. And then I'm going to make a bow with this twine. And then I'm going to glue that to the top. And this is how they turned out. I think these turned out really cute. You could use the other wee shapes that are in Dollar Tree. They've got like wee mushrooms and stuff, and acorns and stuff if you wanted to. You need 52 blocks for this DIY, and I'm making 2 of these, and it has 8 blocks, and I'm just making them into a square. And just make sure you always clean up your glue as you go. Now I'm going to glue together 12 blocks, and it's going to be 2 rows of 6 for this. Now I'm going to take one of those pieces I already made, and I'm going to glue that on the top of that and clean up any excess glue. And then I turn it over and attach 4 half beads for feet. And then here I have 8 pieces, or 8 sets of 3 tower blocks glued end to end. And then I'm just going to glue 2 of each in the corners. And if you watched my spooky tower block DIY video, this is the same style lantern. I just made it 3 high on the sides instead of 4 high, and I'm not making a lid for this one. You can make a lid for it if you want to. I didn't want to. So I'm just cleaning up the glue as I go. And then I'm just gluing on the last one, the last two. And then I'm going to glue the top on. And you have to push the pieces in at the top, make sure that everything is all flush. And now I am doing the same thing as I did with the tray. I'm putting the snowmen in the corners. And then I'm going to glue the trees on the sides. And I'm going to glue 3 trees on each side. Like that. And you can do any combination of, you could put the snowmen on the sides and the trees in the corner, or have just all trees, or not put any trees in the corners, or only put the trees in the corners. It's up to you. Also, you can make these any color you like. You don't have to do the same as me. But I'm using my favorite early American wood stain, and this is how it turned out. I think it turned out really cute. I didn't try it, but when you put the light off and the candles on, you should just see the wee trees as a silhouette. So for the first DIY you need 35 tower blocks and some wood glue, and to start I am just gluing together 15 tower blocks in 3 rows of 5. And then I'm gluing tower blocks around the outside of that, and I'm just measuring them to see if they are going to fit. And the corners aren't plush, but they are good enough and you won't notice. If you're looking for perfection, just don't bother using tower blocks because they are not the same size. You could spend all day trying to find all the blocks in the pack that are the same size, but I just do it as I go along and just swap them out. And it's not perfect. It bothered me at first, but it gives your DIYs some character, I think. So I'm just doing a second layer of the tower blocks. And this is a really simple DIY. You can obviously make it bigger if you want to. I just wanted to make a wee one that could be for a tier tray or just to sit on a shelf. So I'm going to use some Waverly Chalk plaster paint, and I just watered it down with some water. And I have my wee helper here today. I was trying to get her to paint and then she did not want to let go of that paintbrush. So I'm just giving it a white wash. You can paint it whichever colour you like, stain it. I just wanted to give it a white wash so you could see all the wood grain still. And I have another helper, Ethan, there. He is making a tower block design, which I'm going to show you at the very end. I'm just using my heat gun to dry it off quickly. I gave Romy a fright, but it's not as loud as the Hoover. She's terrified of that. I have to do it when she's not around, when she's in her bed. So I have some of these flowers from Dollar Tree and I'm just arranging them. And I love these flowers. I think they're so pretty. I haven't been in Dollar Tree much lately to see if they have them again. So I don't know. There's a sneak peek of Ethan's creation. So I'm just using some needle nose pliers just to cut these down and just arranging them. And Romy's playing with one of her dolls. I got her these wee dolls out of Walmart. They're only $3 and she loves them. She's got this one, and then she's got a brown one that looks just like her. That's so cute. Anyway, here she is helping me by stealing my stuff. I'm just hot gluing the stuff in place. You could use whatever flowers and greenery that you like best for this, but I do love these flowers. I can't believe Romy is 10 months now. I should do a community post and show you guys some pictures, some updates. I'll try to do that this week. She is just so cute and funny. I love her so much. I'm so happy I had her. We're trying for another one. So maybe that'll happen this year. All the other kids are much older. Like my son is moving out next month. He's 22. And Renisha is going to be 18 soon. Ethan has just turned 9. So they're much older. They're all going to be, well, it's a while for Ethan leaves, but still it's a big age gap between him and Romy. So we think it'd be better if she has a wee brother or sister to grow up with. So we'll see if it happens. I'm just adding in some extra leaves and flowers until I'm happy with how it looks. Romy didn't want that one. And then I have a scrap piece of this ribbon left over, so I am just going to tie it around and then tie it in a bow at the front. And I did snip off the ends off camera, and then I'd have a hot glue on the back, but I did that off camera as well. Someone was trying to climb over the table. So it started being chaos here. I did add a couple extra pieces in the bottom just to fill it out, and I did glue them in off camera, and this is how it turned out, and I think it turned out really cute. I do love these flowers and that ribbon. I use it all the time. So you need 24 tower blocks for this DIY. That's another easy one. And some wood glue. And I'm just gluing together end to end 3 tower blocks, and I already made 7, so you need 8 altogether. And then I have this wood canvas from Amazon, I'll link it down below. And I am just using one of the tower blocks to measure from the corner, so there's a tower block space between each of them. And then I just keep doing that and gluing them all the way around. You could make the top and bottom parts for this DIY out of tower blocks if you want to. I just didn't want to. I wanted some easy tower block DIYs. And I'm using the watered down plaster chalk paint again. Of course you can use any colour stain you like. And this is another wood canvas from that pack, which is bigger. I'm not sure what size these are. I think that's like 6 inches. And the other one is 5 inches. Anyway, I just given them the whitewash with the watered down paint and using my heat gun to speed it up. And I will just do the rest of this off camera, and I just gave all these DIYs one coat of the white paint. So this is just a ball of Spanish moss that I'm hot gluing down the bottom. This one is from Walmart. I know you can get it from Dollar Tree. I don't know that same kind, but you could get Spanish moss from there. And then I am just hot gluing the flowers in. This the glue wasn't set properly before I started painting, so make sure you leave things to dry properly, because you're not making a video, so you can spend a bit more time. You're not in a rush to get things done. You can do them properly. So I just keep hot gluing the flowers in until I'm happy with the arrangement, and I will do the rest of the flowers off camera. I'm just adding wood glue to the tops of the tower blocks. And then I'm putting this other piece on top and making sure that it looks good on all sides. And then I just put one of these bunnies and stuff from Dollar Tree. It's from the plus section. They're so cute. And this is how it turned out, and I love how this turned out. You can always use it for a plant or a riser or some kind of ornament. You need 93 blocks for this DIY and some wood glue, and I'm gluing together 11 blocks going across and then 5 blocks high, and it's 55 blocks altogether. And I like to lay them out all together first, and then you can see, make sure they all fit together, and then I like to glue them like this and then fit them all into each other. But don't push them too hard. They fit together better than doing the rows of the blocks and then trying to fit them, glue the rows together. And then I'm just using a wet piece of towel to wipe the glue off. Usually I would use a paper towel. I would call it kitchen roll. But usually I use that, but we don't have any. I forgot to get it at the shop. And now I am doing 2 rows of 5 tower blocks end to end. And then I am doing 2 rows of 3 tower blocks end to end. Here I took 4 tower blocks and I spaced them tower block width apart each and the same on each end. I'm just going to do that with the other one. Oh yeah, I also turned it on its side, and I made sure I used the back glue side for the sides. Oh my god, couldn't get that out. To glue the tower blocks too. And then I'm just doing the same thing with this side, and I'm using 7 tower blocks. And then the same again for this one, turn it on its side, and then make them a tower block width apart each. So now they're dry, or dry enough. I'm gonna glue them all together, and I'm doing the flat side where you see where the tower blocks are against the edge is going to be in the middle, so that has a lip on the outside on the top. And I'm just putting the other piece on top, and I did use the flat side. The side that was on the bottom, I just put that to attach the tower blocks, and then I'm just putting some wee half beads for feet, and then I'm going to use the plaster chalk paint again. Oh, I did this DIY first. This was me mixing it up. And then I am just going to paint it on. I won't show you me painting all of it. I'm using this yellow poly rope from Dollar Tree that I got years ago, and I've just never used it. And I did use 1.5 of these, and these are in the hardware section. So I'm just hot gluing the end down in the middle on the inside, and then I am just going to thread it in and out all the tower blocks. So I don't like this yellow, so I did paint over it in the end just to make it less bright. But if you like it yellow, you can leave it. They also have other colours like white and black and stuff. And you could also use some rope or some twine if you wanted, or some macrame cord, or just some ribbon if that's what you wanted. But I wanted it to look like a basket weave, so I just keep going round. But when I start doing it round here, I realise that it's just going to be going the same way and it's supposed to go in the opposite direction going round. You see, I just realized. So I have to, you can either just loop it around 2. I tried looping it around that like that, but it didn't work. So you could loop it around 2, or you can just cut it and hot glue it each time. I did do that a few times. So now I'm going around the right way. So I don't know if you have to do, how many tower blocks you would need to make it just go around like it's supposed to. Or would that even work? I don't know. But anyway, I kept going, and then if I still had plenty left, I just looped it around 2 of them, so it would go around the right way. And then when my piece was finished, see, I messed it up there again, I kept going. So just watch out for that, and it's at the back anyway, so nobody's going to see that if you're just making it for yourself. If you're going to make it for someone else, then I don't know, you could let me know what I did wrong. So I'm not going to show you me weaving all of it. I'll just show you me doing the end. But here I just hot glued it down, and then I just snipped it off, and then I got the next piece. And I did hot glue the ends of the pieces this time so that they wouldn't unravel. This is me just going around the last one, and all you have to do is just push them down so you can make room for the rope to go through. And you want to make sure you do enough rows so there's no tower blocks showing at the top. And then when I got to the end, I just hot glued it down and then snipped off the extra. So you can see what the back looks like. But you're going to put stuff in it anyway, as long as the front looks nice. So I have these wee rabbits from Dollar Tree. I decided I am going to paint one with the plaster chalk paint. You don't have to put this on it, just thought since it's Easter and that. But at this point I was going to leave the rope like that, but I really don't like the yellow. I really didn't like it. I almost didn't put this DIY out. And then I thought, well, maybe someone will get some inspiration from it. But then after thinking about it, I was like, why don't I just paint it with the whitewash? So I'll do that in the next clip. But I just, the bunny tails aren't put on very well. Anyway, I just glue that to the front. So here, I already did the whitewashes, so I'm just showing you me doing it. I just did it a couple of times, and it looks much better this colour than the bright yellow. And this is how it turned out. And now I think it looks cute, now that I've toned down the yellow. So stay tuned at the end of the video if you want to see Ethan's creation. He's going to be watching the video, make sure I put it in. Let me know which one of these was your favourite. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! So this is Ethan's creation. He called it the green twister. I had to put in a wee platform because it was still wet, but he painted it in green dragonfly paint, and then he sprinkled some green glitter over the top of it. And he hopes you guys like it. DIYs. For this DIY you need 34 tumbling tower blocks and some wood glue. I'm gluing 3 tower blocks end to end, and I'm going to do this twice. Next, I glue together 4 tower blocks end to end, and I make 2 sets of these. Then I make 4 sets of 5 tower blocks glued end to end. So I'm making a frame and I need the 2 sets of 3 tower blocks, and I stand them on their side, and one's at the top, one's at the bottom, and then the set of 4 tower blocks are laying flat at the top and the bottom, and then one set of the 5 tower blocks will be on its side, on the inside of the frame, and then the outside will be laying flat, and then the same on the other side. So I'm just going to glue all the pieces together, and I like this wood glue, but if you have one that you prefer, then use that. I wouldn't use hot glue for gluing together the tower blocks because it doesn't last, and if you want to stain the blocks, the hot glue doesn't stay together, doesn't hold together when you stain it. I have a wee helper. So I'm just using some apple barrel black acrylic paint. You could use chalk paint or spray paint for this. And you could wait until you attach these bones and then paint afterwards. But I wanted to show you I wanted to see myself what it looked like if I didn't paint the bones. So these wee bones are from Dollar Tree, and I'm just arranging them how I want them to go around my frame before I glue them down. And I have Romy keeps stealing them. So I'm just using hot glue to glue them down. You can use something stronger if you want. I had to go put her down because she kept touching the stuff. So I'm just going to glue the rest of them down. Now you could paint these bones white if you wanted, if you don't like this colour. I'm going to paint them black, as you'll see in the next clip. So I wouldn't recommend using the black acrylic paint for this because it did keep chipping off and I had to keep touching it up. And this scrapbook paper I will link down below. I got it on Amazon. I used this last year, so I wanted to use up the rest because I think that picture is so pretty. I'm just marking off where I'm going to cut it, and then I'm just going to cut it with some scissors. So I'm just checking if I needed to keep those bits on it, but I'm just going to cut them off because it was wide enough. Now I'm just going to hot glue this to the frame, but you could put it on some cardboard or some foam board or something to make the back stronger, but I'm just going to hang this up in my craft room, so it doesn't really matter. And I was thinking about putting a twine hanger on it, but I decided to use one of these sawtooth hangers, and the wee nails screws are a wee bit fiddly, and I couldn't get them to go right in with a screwdriver, so I had to go get a bigger one. The wee set of screwdrivers is from Dollar Tree, and I actually think the big one is from there too. And this is how it turned out, and I love this. It was I think it's my favourite DIY. I don't know. I can't decide. It's really hard for this video. Definitely going to keep this hanging up all year round in my craft room. You need 50 tower blocks for this DIY and some wood glue. So for this DIY, I'm gluing together 3 rows of 8 blocks. And I like to glue them like this. Well, actually, I lay them out first and see that they're going to fit and make a nice... most of the blocks are the same size. And then I glue them together. You can do 3 rows of 8 and glue them, and then try and glue them all together at the end, the 3 sections together at the end, but you don't get as good a fit. So now I am just gluing tower blocks all the way around, and I'm gluing these ones standing on their side. And then if there's one that doesn't fit, it's not long enough, or it's too wide, then you can just switch it out for another one. And now I'm gluing some blocks all around the outside, and I'm laying these flat. So the ends at the top and the bottom there, they're just like a couple of millimeters too short. So don't worry about that, because you won't even notice that once you put the bones on. Or you could do something else with this. You don't have to make these DIYs, Halloween DIYs. You can always stain them or put something else on them instead of bones. So I'm just gluing 4 half beads to the bottom. Also, if you wanted, you could make the first DIY like this, so that you'd have a hard back, and then you could just stick your scrapbook paper onto that. And I'm just painting it with the same black acrylic paint as I did before. And I have my wee helper. I'm using more of those bones from Dollar Tree. And someone's trying to steal them. So I'm just fitting them all the way around. So this is going to be a riser. And if you didn't want to use bones, you could always use some of the ribbon from Dollar Tree, even not Halloween ribbon if you wanted to make this for another occasion. Obviously I would have these for every day. But you could put ribbon around the edge, or you could put half beads. There's lots of different options that you have. So I was just touching up a bit that I forgot to paint. Well, not touching up, I was painting it. And then I'm just gluing the bones on. Again, you don't have to use hot glue. You could always use a different glue. I think she knows I'm recording. She's gonna get her hand in. And then I'm just painting over it. But I wouldn't use this paint for painting the bones, because it kept coming off. And you can always just spray paint this once you stick the bones on. I think that probably worked better. Also, if you wanted to, you could dry brush over the bones, or use some rub and buff or something and make them stand out. And this is how it turned out, and I love how this one turned out as well. You only need 22 tower blocks for this DIY, and some wood glue, and I'm just going to glue together 8 tower blocks to make a square. And then I glue together 12 tower blocks, 6 on the top and 6 on the bottom. And then I'm going to glue the square on top of this. But I decided to turn it around before it was dry. Make sure yours is dry, because I wanted the flat side that was on the bottom to be on the front of the picture, because I'm going to glue stuff to it. And now I am just gluing another 2 tower blocks on the bottom because I want it to stand up by itself. And then I just paint it black. And I'm using these bones again, so I decide to set them out around them like this, and then I'm just hot gluing them in place. Something weird came out of my hot glue there. It was like brown, I don't know what it was. And then I'm just using my hot knife to cut the back of the skull off, so that it will sit flat in the middle of the picture. And then just using a nail file to file off the rough edges, and also there's a seam down the middle of the skull, so I'm just filing that down a wee bit, and then I'm just hot gluing that in the middle. Then I was deciding if I was going to put these bones in there. So I decided I would paint it without those bones to see what it looks like first and see if I want to add them in. I was just taking off some excess hot glue. So, I didn't say that I had to give all the bones 2 coats of paint. But I've used chalk paint, probably only need 1 coat. So I decided that I wanted to put the bones in it, and I put them all going in the same direction, of the opposite direction of the big bones on the outside. And I had to do them standing up on their side as well to make them fit, and then I just painted over them. And I love this one too, it's perfect for a shelf filler or a tier tray. You need exactly 1 box of tower blocks for this DIY, that's 72, and some wood glue. And I'm making 2 of these squares like I did in the last DIY. Then I'm gluing together 12 blocks, and I make 2 sets of these. So I'm gluing one of the squares to one set of the 12 blocks, and then I'm putting 4 half beads on the bottom, and that's going to be the base. And then for the top I just placed the square on and turned it over so I could make sure it was placed properly with the same amount of space on each side. And then I'm going to glue 4 tower blocks in the middle of that to the bottom piece, but not the square. I'm not going to glue that yet. And then I made 8 sets of 4 tower blocks, glued end to end, and now I'm going to glue them to the base. And I'm just gluing them in the corners like this. so that the edges are touching. And once I have all those in place, I then glue that other square on the top, and then I make sure all the tower blocks are in the right place, so they're not sticking out at the sides or in the middle. And then I just painted everything black. I should have gave all these DIYs 2 coats of paint, but I only had time for 1. So if you wanted, this would be a nice, cute, simple lantern. You could also do other things with it. You don't have to put bones on it. So I have another one of these skulls, and I'm just hot gluing it to the top. And that's going to be how you pick up the lid. And I forgot, I need to file down that wee seam. I wish they made them without that seam. And then I'm just finding which side I wanted to be the front. For some reason I thought I was going to fit the 2 big bones in there, but I didn't. So I was figuring out something else I was going to do. And then I decided I wasn't going to use the wee skulls. I decided to put a half bead in the middle to fill up that space. And then I just hot glued everything down. And then I did this for the other side as well. And I just made sure I got rid of as much of the excess hot glue that I could. So I thought the top was a bit plain, so I decided to add a smaller half bead on each of the corners, and then I'm going to glue these other bones in between those half beads, and I'm going to do them all facing in the same direction. And then I just paint over all the bones and the skull. And I love how this turned out as well. This is the kind of decor I like. Black, spooky skulls. I like the DIYs I make on my channel, but this is the kind of stuff I really like. That I would love to make all the time, not just Halloween. For this DIY you need 2 boxes because you need 124 blocks and some wood glue. And I made 8 sets of 4 tower blocks glued end to end, and 4 sets of 12 tower blocks. And then I glued a tower block to each end of these sets of 12, and I glued it standing on its side. And then I'm going to glue those other pieces. See here, I made a mistake because I wanted it to see, I've made a mistake there too. Yeah, I want it to sit like this, so I turned it upside down to glue those pieces on, and then glue them in the right place then. And now I am gluing another square. So you need 2 squares, same as the ones in the previous DIYs, just need 8 tower blocks for each of them. And then you need 2 squares with 12 blocks each. So I am gluing, I flipped them over, I'm gluing 1 square like that, and then the other one I'm gluing it on the top. So that one, the last one I did, that's the base, and then I'm just gluing these in place right to the edge of the top piece there that has the 12 tower blocks on it. So you want the edges of each of these to touch so that there's no gaps, and then I put glue on the top, and then put that on the top piece on the top. Oh my god. And then I put something heavy on it till it's the glue set. So these pack of 4 skeletons are from Dollar Tree. I think they have them every year. So I'm just cutting them off, and then I'm cutting off the little plastic hoop on the top that has the twine on it. And then I am just going to paint these on both sides and inside the rib cage. You probably don't need to paint the back of them, but I just wanted to paint the whole thing. I also painted the tower blocks as well. So now I am just hot gluing these inside, and I wanted this to be like kind of like a mausoleum or something. I glue one on each side, and then I'm going to paint them again. And I actually think they need a 3rd coat of paint. I might go buy some chalk paint and then paint over this stuff and see if it stops chipping off. And also, when you'll see in the next clips, when I have the light shining on them, I can see bits of paint I missed. But I did do these in a hurry. I actually didn't put this one together as well as I should have, so take your time with it and don't rush. But I do love how it turned out. I definitely will give it another coat of paint. So this is what it looks like if you make it a candle holder. And then I will show you what it looks like if you put a wee plant on the top. Here it is with the plant. I think this is how I will keep it. But let me know what you think of these DIYs in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. See you next video. Bye.